Welcome to another The Builders Extra, where I go back to a recent podcast episode, usually the last one, in this case, episode 80 of The Builders, where I talked to and had a guest, Roland Pokornik. Roland Pokornik, he is an email guy. He is a specialist in helping people build emails with his product. His product is actually Chameleon. Mail, there's mail in there, email. Get it? Chameleon.io. And he's been doing this for years, and that's their whole thing. What we're going to talk about today is actually something from that episode. We're going to expand on it a little bit, talk a little bit more about it. It's related to channels, finding your channel, your marketing channel in this case, and not your TV channel, and your niche or your vertical, right? And the importance of that. So as we were talking, we started to get into kind of how he built this business and the struggle he has, the challenge he has around marketing it. Because the reality is he's got business, but it's been a real challenge to actually go out and market his business because of how broad his audience is. So he's got like instead of a vertical, he's got a horizontal, right? He's got a service that serves a lot of different types of businesses. And that makes it very challenging for him to figure out where his people are. So between that challenge plus, if you throw money at advertising, that can kind of be what we call a black hole of it just sucks all your money, all the gravity, everything. It just takes it, whether you make money from it or not. So that could be a challenge. SEO can be a challenge. In his particular niche, because he's an email, there's huge competition. It's the same with paid, right? He's in a market where you got the MailChimps of the world, right? So they're sucking up all the oxygen in a room. We'll just say that. It's not unlike kind of my business, web design development. You don't think there's a lot of competition for attention online in that market? There is. Really, so that's really what he struggles with. And so then we talked about how he has spun off another product that is targeting a specific niche and what that niche was. And now, it's going to be easier for us to find that audience and target that audience and speak to that audience and get that audience's business, right? So that was just a really big takeaway there where, here's somebody that created an awesome product, but we built the product first. Didn't thinking about the market and who we're going to actually go out and sell this to, whether they did or not. Maybe they just, I don't know. I don't know how that process went, but anyway. But that's really, so we have this kind of distributed marketplace, where you're serving so many people. Yeah, man, that's a challenge. And I kind of, can relate to that from what we're doing with the web design development. My agency, Unified Web Design. We're actually, I kind of peg ourselves as kind of a full service web design development agency, even though we do, we 90% plus of the agencies we work with, the clients we do stuff for is WordPress. We do other stuff. We've been doing more and more Shopify. We're doing a variety of things, but we're willing to do the design. Even though 95+% of the stuff we do is web development, we still do design in there. So we're a little off balance that way, but anyway, it's my point is that it's relatively broad, right? And really, the way I built my agency over the last 3.5 years was attracting business kind of naturally, organically, and not targeting a specific niche, not actually going out and advertising stuff. A lot of stuff I just attract or have attracted, like our larger accounts. So for us, figuring out our channel, that was, that's another whole process, right? You have to try things. You either have to come in having some knowledge. So I have a background in marketing, and so I know something about advertising, a lot about advertising, and that's why I avoid it. That's why I avoid spending money. But that is, so you can come in with, everyone's different, right? You're going to come with different knowledge and understand or know what you're going to do. I thought for a minute that might focus heavily on SEO. And what I ended up doing, my channel really became, social media platforms, and meeting my market there. Specifically, LinkedIn is like the core of it. And then I got these other satellite things I do, like Twitter and Facebook. That's something that we discovered through just being out there, getting active and creating content. The content I create, obviously this podcast and other content that we post every single day we show up to do that. But that has helped us find our market. Now, even though, here's the trick though, right? Here's what has developed in the last year and a half, in terms of what I would define more as a vertical, is that even though from a direct client perspective, we work with e-commerce stores and memberships, and we have some larger clients around those things. It's not a specific niche like real estate or whatever. It's what it was, just whatever it was when they came to me, and so that really hasn't been defined by us. But we'll get to that in a minute. We're going there. But agencies, on the other hand, so when I started focusing on agencies, now I have a much more narrow focus. And the agencies we work with, because we're web design development, and that's our wheelhouse, that's what we do. We don't do marketing. We do some very basic SEO, on page. We don't go out and do SEO stuff at this stage in our particular situation now. That may change in the future, but for what I'm going to be talking about shortly. But what I go after is agencies, digital marketing agencies, advertising agencies, SEO agencies. That's really the three that we serve. And they might be, kind of combinations of that, or full service and more niched, different, like one of our clients, they have a digital marketing agencies, but they're focused on a very specific industry, which is entertainment. So we help them, they're focused, but we're in the background doing stuff. So I did do that, and that has made all the difference. And we have some really, really great relationships that have come out of that, and has come out of our focus on social media, LinkedIn especially. Most of our large accounts have come out of just being out there and having exposure on those platforms and having those conversations, people being able to easily find us on those platforms. Having a website too helps. Yes, people look at your website. One of our larger clients was actually somebody that I knew that went to my website, saw we had a maintenance page, said, "Hey, you do maintenance? The client I'm working for, they need maintenance. They're having problems. Their website's going down. They're trying to do promotions. They need help." And we have a monthly contract with that client now. But that was found. They found us we were active on social media. They may have come from my social media and looked at our website and saw what we're doing and saw that, so on and so forth. So they ended up in my funnel, right? But we're on social media, and that's also, it's generated other leads, other contacts. There was a guy that I knew 10 years ago that I was on social media. He saw him post, "Oh, you're doing that." He introduced me to a friend who's building an agency. We have a great partnership with that agency now. That stuff happens. Even to direct clients, I had a web developer friend who didn't have time to help a specific client. They found me on LinkedIn. They referred the business to me. 1 year later, over a year now, we're still helping that client. We have a large monthly maintenance contract with them. So we know our channel. We know what we're doing, and what we're doing is working. So we figured that out. But back to episode 80, when he's talking about he's built this little satellite thing they're doing, and they're not changing. It's in the same industry, it's the same type of product. It's just niched down to focus on a specific audience. And we're going to do the same thing. I have identified a market. I'll be talking about this soon. Don't worry. I've been teasing it for a little while now, but I have I like to do that. I don't want to tell you all the details up front. I want to keep you hanging so you keep coming back. Um, so, but no, I've identified an industry, something I'm very familiar with that I have a lot of experience with. And we're going to create a separate website to target that market. We're not changing. We're using the same tools and the same services and everything. We're just adapting that to target a specific market. We're building a kind of a design system around that for that particular market and what they need. But we're doing that same thing. So we'll be able to target them a little bit easier and do other things and maybe even some paid advertising, maybe even some SEO. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I thought that was a great takeaway from that episode. We talked a lot about email systems and stuff like that, but the things that as I'm hearing things, and we like to dig into how they're actually building their business too, not just talk about their services or the products they're creating, but how are you building your business, or how are you looking at your marketing? How are you getting the word out? How is that all those questions? I love digging into that stuff, but I thought that was because it's so important. I know there's tons and tons of people out there that are just kind of lost with their businesses, or they don't know how to grow because they don't know where their channel is. Like, where is it? I don't know. But the part of that problem is you got to take action too. You got to try. You got to put more than, okay, I put out five posts out and nothing happened. It takes time. Trust me. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm still in the early stages. I feel like maybe in 5 years, I'll be able to say something different. So it's a long game. It takes patience, but you find that and make sure that you find a way to target a niche, something more narrow, a vertical. So it's easier for you because the more narrow it is, the easier it is for you to target those people. Now that may shrink the size of your market, but you can become the expert and the authority in that market and build a solution that's perfect for them. And, all the rest will be history. Hope you found this interesting. Until next time, great chatting with you.